My beloved child, be still in your soul and listen carefully. This is not an ordinary moment, and it is no coincidence that you are reading these words precisely as the world around you falls into silence. When the outer world temporarily halts its motion, when the familiar noises of the day retreat into the night, that is when the realm of the Spirit begins to speak. You are not an anonymous soul drifting through the current of life, and the house you live in is not overlooked or forgotten. Right now, something is beginning to be unveiled, something that has always been closer to you than you imagined. Yet you were never permitted to see it in full until tonight. There is something shifting in the atmosphere around you. A spiritual stirring is happening, not out on the streets, not in the noise of the news, but right in your dwelling place. Have you ever sensed strange moments when the air felt heavy though all remained still? Have there been times you felt chills for no clear reason? Have there been nights your eyes could not close, even though your body was weary? These were not figments of your imagination. They were real. They were alarms sent from your spirit, because your soul, even veiled by flesh, still knows the difference between light and darkness. And tonight, you are being called to see clearly. Oh, my child, I know you have been weary. I know there's been a confusion inside you that even you struggle to describe. Your mind feels as if it's covered in a fog, making everything seem blurry. But I say to you, this is not random. No emotion within you is meaningless. No sleepless night has been wasted. I have seen every beat of your heart. Every time you tried to reassure yourself, saying, it's probably nothing, or maybe I'm just overthinking. But now you must know this. Something has entered your living space. Something that did not come from me. A presence, an influence. A shadow has slipped in through a crack you did not expect. And from the moment it entered, it began to operate silently, slowly, but with intention. Do not think the spiritual realm always reveals itself in force. Not all darkness roars. Some presences come like a thin mist, like a passing breeze. Yet their influence is deep and lingering. Sometimes they enter through words that seemed harmless, through objects not consecrated, or through someone you trusted who carried spiritual impurity. And then, little by little, the atmosphere in your home begins to change. Joy feels heavy. Clarity in your mind becomes dim. Sleep becomes disturbed. Peace is drawn away without warning. This is not coincidence. It is occupation. But I, your God, will not let you remain in that darkness without a way out. I come tonight to expose what has been hidden. I come to pull back the veil. I come to uncover your enemy. Scripture declares, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." Luke 8:17. And tonight is the moment of revelation. Once my light shines forth, nothing can remain hidden. You have been too kind. You have opened your heart too freely. You have trusted those with sweet words and gentle gestures, who inwardly harbored motives not born of light. There were people you thought were friends, yet they did not stand for you. There were those who sat in your home, laughed with you, but left behind an influence that disturbed your soul after they departed. What they carried could not be seen, but you felt it in your fatigue, in your unnamed wrestlings, in your restless dreams and unexplainable sighs. And tonight, I will point them out to you. You do not have to fight in the dark alone. I have sent my angels. They are stationed around you. They do not slumber. They do not depart. They are under orders to let nothing harmful come near you. But you must respond. You must step into the position I appointed for you, the position of one with authority, one who carries power, one who calls upon my name and causes heaven to open. Tonight, if you rise, if you lift your voice, if you pray, everything will shift. The atmosphere of your home will be renewed. Your spiritual vision will become sharp, and those things that once manipulated you will be forced to retreat. Do not fall asleep in this moment. Do not let weariness dull your alertness. Do not allow yourself to surrender before facing what I am revealing. This is a critical hour. This is the crossing between blindness and clarity, between passivity and spiritual authority. If you ignore this moment, what operates in the dark will continue to hold ground. But if you act, if you awaken, if you open your mouth and declare life, the darkness will lose its place. My beloved child, when I say that tonight is a sacred moment, I do not speak in metaphor but in holy reality unfolding before your eyes. The spiritual heavens above your home are shifting. Angelic forces are being dispatched. An invisible yet fierce battle is raging in the space around you. And you, my child, hold the key to what is permitted to enter and what must be cast out. The doorway is not in the bricks or gates, but within your spirit. I speak not only of your physical home's entry, but of the internal gate where you receive, where you make covenant, where you place your trust. And if you do not guard it carefully, the enemy will creep in through the cracks without a formal invitation. Perhaps you didn't mean to let it happen. Perhaps it was just one weary moment when you stopped being watchful. Perhaps it was a single compromise, allowing something contrary to light into your space. But I tell you this, in the spiritual realm, nothing is accidental without consequence. A careless word, a nourished negative thought, an object you kept even when you knew it, bore a shadow. All these are gates, and the enemy only needs one opening. He doesn't have to break in, he only needs permission. And often, that permission is granted through your silence, your resignation, your refusal to act at the appointed time. You once thought yourself strong, once believed evil couldn't touch you. But I did not give you strength so you could live complacently. I gave it so you could stand in vigilance. I did not call you to be weak, but I warn you not to lean on your own strength. Scripture cautions, so, if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall, 1 Corinthians 10:12. It is in the moments when you feel safest, when everything appears peaceful, that you are most vulnerable, and the enemy is a master at disguising attack in the cloak of familiarity. There was someone who walked into your home whom you believed brought peace. But in truth, they carried a different atmosphere. They spoke words that left your soul troubled once they were gone. There was a gift you received, thinking it was a blessing, but it was a channel of darkness. There was a conversation that seemed innocent, but its echo lingered in your spirit negatively. These things are not trivial. My child, they are not petty matters to overlook. They are tactics, small pieces the enemy uses to build a wall between you and my presence. And then one day, you realize peace no longer feels the same. Clarity becomes clouded, and prayer feels dry. That is when the wall is complete. I do not blame you. I did not come to condemn you, but to open your eyes. Tonight, I am reaching into that thick veil, pulling it back layer by layer, I am lighting a lamp within your soul, so you may see what must be cleansed, not to shame, but to restore, not to make you feel like a failure, but to call you into victory. I will not leave you in the dark. I enter it with you, with the sword of truth in my hand, to tear apart all that has surrounded you. You are not a victim. You are chosen. You are not forsaken. You are summoned to rise. You are not forgotten. You are the one heaven is watching this very moment. My beloved child, I speak this so you will understand. You can take back authority over your space. You can cleanse what does not belong to me. You can invite me into every room, every shadowed corner, every place in your home and your heart, so that my light will drive out every trace of darkness. But you must begin. You must act. Speak aloud. Pray. Declare that no force has a right to dwell in your home if it does not belong to the Lord God. Walk through your house if needed, whether in quiet or with loud intercession. Open the windows if prompted. Lift your voice in worship if your spirit stirs. Do not let anything bind your freedom in the Spirit. The very moment you engage in spiritual action, heaven will respond. Angels will move. Darkness will withdraw, and the peace you thought you lost will return more powerfully than ever before. You once doubted, once believed that perhaps you were imagining things, that the stirrings in your heart were mere sensitivity. But I speak truly to you. Spiritual sensitivity is a gift, and tonight I am awakening that gift within you. You will no longer have to guess. You will no longer live in uncertainty. You will know deeply and clearly who comes to you in light and who hides in shadow. You will discern not only with emotion, but with the depth of the Holy Spirit. And once you know, you will not be able to remain inactive. I am teaching you how to guard your home, not merely with locks, but with prayer, not with surveillance cameras, but with holiness, not with ethical rules alone, but with spiritual authority. My child, your home is territory that belongs to me. Let nothing else reign there. Keep watch. Rise up. Walk in the light I am giving you. My beloved child, the moment you have unconsciously longed for, the moment your soul has craved in the midst of dark nights, that moment has now arrived. Tonight, I am not merely warning you. I am unveiling. I am not simply calling you to awaken. I am drawing you out from the invisible darkness that has surrounded you for so long. This is the hour of revelation. This is the moment of clarity. This is the instant in which you can no longer pretend you have not seen, not heard, not sensed. For I, yes, I, myself, I am standing in your room, speaking directly into your heart, so that you will know that truth cannot be buried forever. I have waited to reveal this to you, because I knew you needed time to be ready. I have patiently waited until your heart was tender enough, your mind quiet enough, and your spirit hungry enough to hear, not with human ears, but with the breath of the Spirit within you. And now, seeing that you are in the right place, I reveal not through metaphor, not through scattered dreams, but through living words, words from my heart straight into your soul. You once asked me in silence, Lord, what is happening in my home? You have spent sleepless nights, restless because of a lingering sense that something was not right. You have walked from room to room, sensing an odd presence in the atmosphere, but you couldn't name it, couldn't point it out, couldn't understand it. You even blamed yourself, thinking it might be just anxiety. stress, or an exhausted imagination. But I say to you, no. You are not imagining things. No. You are not weak. No. You are not delusional. You are truly discerning what is operating in the spiritual realm beneath the surface. And that is why I have come to confirm it to you. There is a presence that was invited in, that never should have been. There was a word spoken aloud that should never have been released. There was a promise once made within your home that has now been betrayed. And these are not mere human matters. They have left spiritual imprints. They opened a door, and the enemy slipped in under the disguise of familiarity. But I declare, today, that door must be shut, not merely closed halfway, but sealed by the authority of my name. Things have gone further than you imagined. The whispers behind your back have turned into declarations in the spirit realm. The silent acts have become strategic maneuvers of darkness. But I will not remain silent. I never watch you be surrounded without speaking forth. That is why tonight, I sound the trumpet of awakening. You must know this. Someone closer to you than you think has not been genuine with you. They wear one face, but harbor different intentions in their heart. They smile at you, but behind you are whispered words, scrutinizing eyes, and jealousy masked by friendliness. And it is they who have carried with them an unclean atmosphere into your living space. Perhaps they were unaware, but the spirit attached to them is not from me, and it has left traces on your mind. In your sleep, within your emotions, you began to doubt yourself, to feel unworthy, disconnected, and useless. But I declare you have been deceived, because you are not what their words have labeled you. You are the one I have chosen. You are my temple. You are territory that no other power can possess. Rise, my child. Do not sit still any longer. Do not wait for an outward sign to act. The sign is already within you, the rising of a voice inside, a voice that the enemy fears. That is why he tried to silence it. He wore you down with fatigue, clouded you with chaos, and muted you with hopelessness. But tonight, I breathe the breath of life back into your soul. I resurrect your voice. I command your spiritual discernment to reawaken, and I give you a promise. If you enter this night with spiritual alertness, you will emerge by morning with revelation. Nothing can remain hidden forever. Nothing I permit to be exposed will ever be allowed to destroy you. I am the one who reveals not to shame, but to deliver. I do not bring you to face truth to see you collapse, but so you may be free. For you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. This is my promise to you, and that promise begins to take form right here, tonight. So what will you do? Will you ignore this word and let it fade into oblivion? Or will you rise, open your mouth, and pray as you never have before? Will you hide, or will you declare that you belong to the light? Will you continue to play the role of the wounded, or will you rise in the name of the Almighty to reclaim dominion over your life? I am waiting for your response, not because I cannot act without you, but because I desire to act with you. When you open your mouth, I will move. When you stand, I will dispatch angels to march forth. When you declare life, all death must retreat. Tonight, do not let fatigue lull you back to sleep. Let my word set your spirit ablaze like a lamp of vigilance, for the hour of revelation has arrived. And from this moment forward, Nothing will remain the same. My beloved child, you were not created to live a passive, quiet life of avoidance. You were born into a divine moment, in the midst of a turbulent age, and I made no mistake placing you here. You are not abandoned in a chaotic world. You are sent as a watchman, a spiritual warrior, a bearer of light into the darkest corners. I allowed you to walk through nights, not to destroy you, but to sharpen your spiritual eyes. When you felt cornered, when you thought you might break, that was when I was teaching you to recognize the authority I have embedded within your soul. You are not weak in the current of darkness. You are a key holder. I have placed in you the ability to discern between darkness and light, between truth and deception, between what is from me and what is from the enemy. But you will never walk in that power unless you dare to rise. If you continue to live as a passive one, letting circumstances dominate you, letting others' words define you, then you are handing over power to the darkness. And the enemy knows this. He does not fear those who pray faintly or speak eloquent words without action. He fears the one who knows who they are in me and dares to live out that identity. My child, there is a reason why you feel like you are in a battle no one else around you understands. Because you are indeed in a war where many have fallen asleep. They don't see, don't sense it, don't hear so. They cannot understand why you have become cautious, alert, or why at times you have to say no to what they deem harmless. But you are not to measure yourself by the approval of the crowd. You must measure yourself by my calling. And that calling is not for the comfort-seeking, but for those who dare to leave the crowd and guard the territory I've entrusted to them. Your home, your family, your sleep, your mind, they are all sacred territories. If you do not guard them, another will seek to control them. If you do not pray, others' words will shape the atmosphere around you. If you do not proclaim life, curses will hover in your space. There are conversations that seem trivial, yet every word is like a spiritual arrow. And if you are not clothed in the armor of the Spirit, you will be pierced without even knowing. That is why I call you to put on the full armor of God, Ephesians 6:11. For this is not a time of negligence. This is the hour to act. Do not expect others to protect you when I have given you the authority to guard your space. Do not think only those anointed can wage spiritual warfare. You have been anointed by me when I chose you before the foundation of the world. The blood of the Lamb has sealed your soul. My presence has covered you many times in the night, in moments when you didn't understand why you weren't crushed. Now you know I was always there, and I am giving you authority, not to keep like a relic, but to use as a weapon. My child, if you do not speak, who will? If you do not pray for your home, who will? If you do not take your assigned place, who will take your place? No one. For this position is singular. This calling cannot be replaced. It is destiny, and I have chosen you. You once thought you had to do something grand to be considered obedient. But tonight, I simply ask you to stand, open your mouth, and declare, this house belongs to the Lord. No darkness is allowed to remain. That simple, and yet profoundly powerful, because every word you speak in faith becomes a decree from heaven. Every step you take in obedience is reinforced by angelic armies. You do not walk alone. You do not speak in vain. You are joining forces with the throne of the Most High. If you only knew what I have already stationed around you, you would not fear. If you saw the number of angels assigned to guard your gates, you would no longer tremble. If you heard the schemes of the enemy that have been dismantled before they reached you, you would raise up a song of unending worship. But even if you do not see, do not hear, do not know everything, believe that I am moving, and I need your cooperation, not through fleshly striving, but through faith, not through desperate shouting, but through prayer, born of the awareness of where you stand and to whom you belong. Tonight, you are no longer the helplessly watched. You are the one in authority. You are the one who holds dominion. You are the one with a voice. And when you speak, heaven will move. When you proclaim, darkness will flee. When you act, every force that has tried to destroy peace in your home will retreat in haste. For I have placed my seal upon you, and no power can override that. My beloved child, as you begin to stand in your spiritual authority, things will begin to stir. What once lay dormant under a facade of peace will reveal its true nature. Darkness cannot endure light. And as you let my light shine through your words and your life, everything that once hid in shadowed corners will be forced into the open. Do not be surprised if the atmosphere in your home becomes tense after you pray. Do not be shaken if someone once close suddenly becomes distant or reacts strongly when you begin to declare truth. It is not their humanity reacting, but the spirit within them struggling, because my presence is touching what they have tried to conceal. When truth arises, falsehood must retreat. When light shines, darkness has nowhere left to hide. And that is exactly what is happening around you. You have cried out, stepped into promise, prayed in faith, and now the entire spiritual realm is shifting in response. You cannot invite me in and expect the old, the defiled, the deceitful to remain undisturbed. My presence is the wind that shatters long-locked doors. My presence is the fire that consumes all impurity. My presence is the hand that stirs what was covered. And if you truly want to dwell in complete peace, you must embrace the cleansing I am now carrying out. Do not be surprised if relationships begin to fall away after you surrender your life to me completely. Do not find it strange when people suddenly exit your life without explanation. That is not loss, it is deliverance. For there are those who only remain when darkness still has a foothold. Once light enters, they must either change or depart. And yes, I myself, I am allowing this to take place because I love you, because I want you to live in truth, because I desire you to be free from bonds you have not even fully understood. You once said, Lord, I want to know the truth, and now I'm answering that prayer. But remember, truth does not always come in gentle forms. Sometimes it arrives like a whirlwind, uprooting everything not planted by me. Sometimes it comes like a double-edged sword, cutting through false attachments that have weighed down your soul. Sometimes it strikes like thunder in the middle of the night, awakening you from the slumber you mistook for peace. Yet in whatever form it comes, my truth is always life, always freedom, always a doorway leading you to the place I have ordained. My child, this is the time for you to learn how to listen not only with your ears, but with your spirit. When you encounter someone, discern the atmosphere. When flattering words are spoken, ask me what remains unsaid. When peace is withdrawn after a conversation, do not ignore it. Ask me, Lord, what has entered my space? For every word, every glance, every object, Every presence carries a spiritual climate. And if you do not learn to discern, you will be overwhelmed by things you assumed were harmless. There are things in your home that need to be removed. There are keepsakes that were once beautiful memories but have now become tainted with an unclean atmosphere. There are books, paintings, clothes, gifts, and even music you once welcomed into your house that now serve as contact points for foreign spirits. Ask me to show you. Walk through each room in prayer and spiritual sensitivity. Ask me, and I will respond. Proclaim, Lord, reveal everything that does not belong to you so that I may remove it. And I will do it. You are not alone in this cleansing journey. I am walking with you through each layer of dust. I am illuminating every dark corner you once believed was harmless. I am purifying your dwelling not only because I desire to bless you, but because I desire to dwell there. I do not inhabit impurity. I do not share territory with darkness. Where I abide must be clean. And tonight, that process begins. My beloved child, do not fear when everything around you begins to change. Do not let chaos cause you to retreat. Do not allow opposition to make you doubt yourself. Remember, when Jesus entered the temple, he did not smile at the merchants. He did not sit down to negotiate with impurity. He overturned tables, drove them out, and cleansed the space. For the temple was meant for worship, not compromise. And your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Your home is a place I long to inhabit. So do not be surprised when I move with force, because I love you, because I want to dwell with you, because I am guarding what belongs to me. Now, my child, after all that has been revealed, after the truth has begun to unfold, it is time for you to act. There is no room for hesitation, no more time for delay. This is the moment I have waited for a clear response from you. I do not seek an excuse. I am not waiting for an explanation. I await a declaration. For a declaration made in faith is the mark of an awakened soul. The voice of one who knows they are stepping into divine territory and are ready to defend it at all costs. Stand in the middle of your home, the place where you've slept, where you've prayed, where you've cried, rejoiced, despaired, and hoped, and declare with all the authority given to you from heaven, this house belongs to the Lord. No force of darkness has permission to dwell here. Every lie, every deception, every influence not from the Holy Spirit must leave now. Speak it not as a beggar, but with the authority of one who is a co-heir with Christ. Declare it as one who knows they are guarding the gates of a holy nation, where no unclean thing may enter. You have been silent long enough. You have forgiven, yielded, tried to explain, tried to understand, tried to live in peace. But now, this is no longer personal. This is a battle between light and darkness, truth and deception, life and spiritual death. And in this battle, silence is not kindness, it is compromise. You cannot allow the enemy to prowl around your home without speaking up. You cannot let unrighteousness remain in your worship space without rising to confront it. My child, if you do not guard your ground, someone else will seize it. I am not merely teaching you how to pray. I am training you to be a spiritual steward. A steward does not flinch in the storm. A steward does not retreat under pressure. A steward is not ruled by emotions. And you, yes, you are the one I have chosen to guard this territory. You asked for peace. and I am teaching you how to protect it. You begged for my presence, and I am teaching you how to prepare a place for me, not by decorating your house, but by removing everything that opposes my presence. There are things you must do not just once, but continually. The enemy does not rest, and so your vigilance must also remain constant. Every morning when you wake, declare, "This house is covered by the blood of the Lamb." Every night before bed, proclaim, "The angels of the Lord encamp around this place." Saturate your living space with my word. Play worship music. Let scripture echo through every room. Create an atmosphere where darkness cannot remain, cannot breathe, cannot bear to stay. Not because I need it to be present, but because the spiritual realm needs to be reminded that this place is not vacant. This place has an owner. You think the enemy only acts when you make major mistakes? No, my child. He begins with small neglects, a seed of bitterness left unchecked, a glance lacking forgiveness, a word spoken in fear instead of faith. He does not need a wide open door, only a crack. But today, you will not allow it to continue. Today, you rise as a spiritual gatekeeper. Today, you say, "No more lying." I am fortifying your faith because in the coming days you will see more. Your dreams will become clearer. Your spiritual discernment will sharpen. What was once dim will be illuminated. But with that, you must become braver. You must respond more quickly. You must act the moment I whisper. Do not delay. Do not reason it away. Do not shrink back out of fear of displeasing others. For when you please me, I myself will go before you and make a way in the presence of men. You will be amazed by the change that follows your action. The heaviness will lift. The fog will clear. Toxic relationships will quietly withdraw. Light will flood in like the tide. The atmosphere will feel clean, as if it had never been tainted. For where there is righteous declaration, there is presence. And where there is presence, there is freedom. My child, know that everything you do tonight, every prayer, every act that may seem small to the eyes of men, is being recorded in heaven. The angels are not merely observing, they are responding to the declarations you speak in faith. The clearer your words, the swifter their movements, the stronger your stance, the bolder their mission, for they serve the one who has called you beloved, and they are commissioned to guard everything I have entrusted to you. Do not be afraid when you hear unseen footsteps or feel strange tremors in the atmosphere. These are not signs to fear, but confirmations that the spiritual realm is moving. And you, yes, you have been chosen to command that atmosphere with authority from heaven. So now, breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart. Open your mouth, and let heaven and earth hear your voice declare, "This house belongs to the Lord. This soul belongs to the Lord. This life belongs to the Lord. Nothing can be taken from his hand. And I, the Almighty God, say to you, I have heard, I have seen, and I am moving. My beloved child, now that the night has retreated, now that darkness no longer occupies your mind as it once did, I want you to know this: a new season has begun. You have crossed a sacred threshold. Few are awakened enough to pass through. You rose while others gave up. You prayed when your soul was weary. You held on to faith when your emotions screamed, "Surrender." And because you did, I declare, this is the day of reward. Not a reward as the world imagines, but a gift from heaven: clarity, freedom, wholeness of soul. There are seasons in life that come without announcement. They bear no signs or celebratory sounds. They emerge quietly, beginning with a shift in spiritual climate, felt only by those with spiritual ears. You are in such a moment now. A new season is rising around you, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. Your inner being has stepped into a new light, and that light is beginning to touch every other area of your life. My child, you are no longer who you once were, even though those around you still look at you with old eyes, still speak your name with familiar tones. You know within your soul that something irreversible has occurred. It is a transformation. It is a marking. It is the moment I touched the deepest part of your being and gave you what no one else could: clarity of identity, of nature, and of mission. You no longer have to ask who you are in this world. I have affirmed you belong to me. I have called you a watchman, a gatekeeper, a bearer of fire. From this day forward, as you walk through your home, you are no longer merely a resident. You are a priest, the keeper of the spiritual altar in every room. When you speak, you are not merely voicing prayers, you are establishing order. When you worship, you are not just singing, you are releasing the atmosphere. When you stand, you do not stand alone, you stand for your bloodline, for generations to come, for those who do not yet know how to pray for themselves. My child, I know you once thought you were small, that your actions were invisible, unnoticed, but you did not know that all of heaven silently witnessed every prayer you whispered when no one was near. The angels recorded every time you refused to compromise, every moment you chose what was right, even when no one praised you. And now, heaven is opening not first to rain down material wealth, but to give you something far greater: understanding of true glory. You will begin to notice small changes with great impact: a deeper sleep, undisturbed, a lightness in your mind, as if long-held burdens were lifted, a voice in your heart echoing endlessly: true peace has come. This is not your imagination. It is the fruit of my presence filling your living space. For I do not merely want to touch your heart. I want to renew your environment. I do not merely wish to calm the storm within you. I want to make you the one who commands the storm to be still. Top of form. And from now on, when others step into your home, they will sense it. They won't understand why their hearts feel lighter. They won't be able to explain why their minds are suddenly at peace within your space. It is because my presence is there, because you have prepared a place for me to dwell. And wherever I dwell, there is freedom. Wherever I reside, darkness cannot remain. Even those who do not believe, who do not pray, who do not know my name, they too will be stirred. They will weep without knowing why. They will listen when you speak, not because of eloquence, but because their spirits recognize my voice within yours. This is the season where you no longer need to prove yourself. My presence will speak for you. This is the time when you no longer need to chase a role. The role will find you. For I am drawing you out from the hidden place and into the open, not to exalt you, but so that the light within you will shine and cause darkness elsewhere to retreat. My child, as the night passes and the sacred dawn breaks, know this: each new ray of light is a divine confirmation that my promises are still alive. The words I speak never return void. What I begin, I always bring to completion. You have lived through the long night, And now you shall step into your morning, not with the sound of trumpets, but with the whisper of my Spirit gently declaring within you, I am here, I am moving, and you have entered into true life. And so, my beloved, now that the night has passed, now that darkness no longer rules your mind as it once did, I want you to know this: a new season has begun. You have crossed a sacred threshold that few are awake enough to recognize. You rose while others surrendered. You prayed when your soul was weary. You held on to faith when every emotion in you screamed to give up. And because you did, I declare this is the day of reward. Not reward as man imagines it, but a divine outpouring of clarity, freedom, and wholeness of soul. There are seasons in life that arrive without warning. They do not come with signs or fanfare. They simply appear, quietly, beginning with a shift in the spiritual climate, and only those with spiritual ears can perceive them. You are living in such a moment. A new season is arising around you, not because circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. Your inner being has moved into a new light, and that light is beginning to touch every area of your life. My child, you are no longer the same. Though those around you may still look at you with familiar eyes, though they may call your name with the same tone, you know deep within that something irreversible has taken place. This is a turning. This is a marking. This is the moment when I reached the deepest part of your soul and gave you what no one else could, a clear knowing of your position, your nature, and your calling. You no longer need to wander asking who you are in this world. I have confirmed that you are mine. I have called you a watchman, a gatekeeper, a bearer of fire. From now on, when you walk through your home, you are no longer merely a resident, you are a priest, the keeper of the spiritual altar in every room. When you speak, you are not merely uttering prayers, you are establishing divine order. When you worship, you are not merely singing, you are releasing the atmosphere. When you stand, you do not stand just for yourself, you stand for your lineage, for future generations. For those who do not yet know how to pray for themselves, my child, I know you once thought you were small, that what you did was invisible, unnoticed. But you did not know that all of heaven quietly witnessed every prayer you whispered when no one else was around. Angels recorded every time you refused to compromise, every moment you chose righteousness without applause. And now, the heavens are opening, not first to rain down material wealth, but to give you something more precious, the revelation of true glory. You will begin to see small changes that carry great weight, a deeper sleep, free of restlessness, a lightness in your mind, as if a long-standing burden has been lifted. A voice within that echoes endlessly. True peace has arrived. This is not your imagination. This is the result of my presence filling your living space. Because I do not only desire to touch your heart, I desire to transform your environment. I do not only want to calm the storm within you, I want to make you the one who stills storms in others. And from now on, when others step into your home, they will sense it. They won't understand why their hearts feel lighter. They won't be able to explain why their minds are suddenly at peace within your space. It is because my presence is there, because you have prepared a place for me to dwell. And wherever I dwell, there is freedom. Wherever I reside, darkness cannot remain. Even those who do not believe, who do not pray, who do not know my name, they too will be stirred. They will weep without knowing why. They will listen when you speak, not because of eloquence, but because their spirits recognize my voice within yours. This is the season where you no longer need to prove yourself. My presence will speak for you. This is the time when you no longer need to chase a role. The role will find you. For I am drawing you out from the hidden place and into the open, not to exalt you, but so that the light within you will shine and cause darkness elsewhere to retreat. My child, as the night passes and the sacred dawn breaks, know this: each new ray of light is a divine confirmation that my promises are still alive. The words I speak never return void. What I begin, I always bring to completion. You have lived through the long night, and now you shall step into your morning, not with the sound of trumpets, but with the whisper of my spirit gently declaring within you, I am here. I am moving, and you have entered into true life. And, my beloved child, now that you have stepped into new territory, now that the storm has passed and my peace rests upon your life, I speak to you something essential. You were not restored just to enjoy comfort. You were healed to become a river, not a réservoir. You were delivered to become a vessel of deliverance. You were rebuilt not to hide in private safety, but to emerge as a lamp set on a stand to shine, to guide, to drive away darkness. I did not send you while your wounds were still open. I kept you hidden in a sacred place to be healed. I gave you time to regain strength, to be wrapped, to rest in my presence. I held you as you wept, stayed silent when you needed stillness, whispered gently when your spirit was recovering. But now, I see the fire within you rekindled. Your feet stand firm. Your mind is no longer clouded, and the words in your mouth are no longer cries of despair, but declarations of purpose. This is the sign you are ready. My child, my sending is not a burden, it is a privilege. Not everyone walks through the night as you have. Not everyone sees what you have seen, hears me as clearly, or is restored in unconditional love. But because you have, you carry a kind of authority no classroom can bestow. It is the weight of one who has encountered truth. When you speak, others will listen, for they will sense the sacred weight in your words, something no one can imitate. I do not call you to a pulpit or a microphone to validate your calling. I send you forth in the simplest acts that hold deep spiritual power, a timely word of comfort, a quiet presence in the right place, a gentle touch, a knowing gaze, a silent prayer for someone you do not even know. These, performed by one who has walked through fire, carry more weight than 100 eloquent speeches that have never known pain. You once thought that to impact the world, you needed to be prominent. But I declare, to change a city, sometimes I only need one room where the light is never extinguished. To transform a family, sometimes I only need one person who will not compromise. To awaken a generation, sometimes I only need one voice that does not tremble. And in each of these, I am preparing you not to become someone else, but to become fully you. The version I designed before the world distorted your image with wounds, judgments, and lies. You do not need to be like anyone else. You do not need to imitate another's voice. You do not need to repeat someone's prayers, speech, or ways. Your voice is unique. Your journey is one of a kind. And because you obeyed me in silence, I will make your voice echo among the crowds without you having to shout. I will place within your words an anointing that softens the hardest hearts and opens doors once tightly shut. Do not be afraid to step forward. Do not fear being not enough. Do not wait for the feeling of perfection before you act. You think those I send are the ones without weakness. No, my child. The ones I send are those who have learned to lean on my strength rather than their own. You used to tremble at the thought of stepping outside your safe space. But now you will see, it is in your very weakness that my power is most clearly displayed. For in your weakness, I am glorified. From now on, when you enter into everyday conversations, let my spirit whisper in your ear. When you pass someone and feel a stirring in your spirit, do not ignore it. When you feel led to stop, to pray, or to speak a word of encouragement, do not delay. For in those unnoticed moments, I am using you to shake the spiritual realm of another. You may never know how a single obedient word can change the destiny of a soul. Top of form, my beloved child. From this season onward, every step you take carries spiritual impact. Not because you are special in the eyes of the world, but because you have stepped into my divine flow. You have walked from brokenness into restoration, from fragmentation into wholeness. And now, I place in your hand a lamp not to hide, but to raise high. I do not need you to burn with the brilliance of fireworks. I need you to burn steadily, faithfully, like a flame that never goes out. For this is the kind of light that melts the frost, the kind of light that helps the wanderer find their way home. So now, my child, be ready. Put on the armor of righteousness. Step forward in unconditional love. Speak with a voice soaked in humility. And remember, you do not walk alone. I go before you. I stand beside you. I move through you. My beloved, once darkness is driven out of the house, it does not vanish. It returns not hidden behind closed doors, but attacking from the outside. No longer whispering, it will shout. No longer hiding behind subtle things, it will manifest through circumstances, through people, through the very atmosphere around you. This is what you must understand. The battle is not over. It has merely changed its form. You have prevailed in private, but now you are called to victory in the open. When you cleansed your home spiritually, when you rejected compromise, when you declared my kingship over your dwelling, you sent a clear spiritual signal. This place is sanctified, and the darkness that once resided there never leaves quietly. It retreats, but it does not give up. It is expelled from your territory, but it waits at the edge, seeking a way to return. This time, it will not come through the same door. It will find new pathways through your work, your relationships, the news, or everyday disruptions. And I say to you, you must discern this early, lest you be caught off guard. There will be moments when you step outside, filled with peace, only to have one conversation unravel you. There will be times when you sit at your desk with a clear mind, but one message, one email, may steal the stillness of your soul. Do not be surprised. Do not be shaken. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are in position, because you are walking in the light. The darkness now presses in from all directions, but do not be afraid. I will not allow you to enter a new battle without new weapons. You have learned to pray in secret. Now you will learn to stand in public without losing peace. You have learned to maintain the atmosphere within your home. Now you will learn to carry that atmosphere wherever you go. You are not called to flee the world. You are called to bring my kingdom into it. And that means learning to remain rooted in my peace. Even when the world around you is in chaos, I taught you to cleanse the house. Now I will teach you to command the space around you. You cannot control every word spoken, every person who enters your life, every situation that arises, but you can control your response. You can choose peace over anger. You can choose prayer over complaint. You can choose spiritual stillness over emotional reaction. And it is in that choice that I move. My child, there will be those who do not understand you. They will say you have changed, that you're not as approachable, that you've become too spiritual. But know this, those words are not meant to make you feel guilty. They are signs that the light in you is exposing places in them they are not ready to face. And when light shines on darkness, the first response is often discomfort. But do not let that cause you to shrink back. Do not trade holiness for superficial harmony. Pleasing people will never bring peace to the soul. There will be trials that seem small. Yet if you're not watchful, they will draw you back to the very places you just escaped. A harsh word, a cold glance, indifference from someone close, a delay in answered prayer. These things can trouble your mind, but I say to you, they are dust on the road. Do not let that dust obscure your vision of the kingdom to come. Shake it off your feet. Keep walking. Know that peace does not come from your surroundings, but from my presence within you. I am teaching you what many never learn in their lifetime, to live in the world without belonging to it, to stand in the midst of conflict without being consumed by it, to labor in chaos and yet remain clear-headed, to love those who do not love you not by your own strength, but by the power of the forgiveness I renew in you each morning. This is not a common lifestyle, but it is the way of those who are sent, trained, and led by the Holy Spirit. So, my child, when you feel that the battle has shifted from your home to the world around you, do not think you've failed. Do not believe that you've gone astray. No, it is evidence that darkness has been driven out and is now attempting to lure you away from the firm ground where you stand. But if you guard your heart, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, you will not be moved. I am fortifying your foundation, and from that place, you will not only stand firm but become a refuge for those being swept away by the unseen currents of this world. My beloved child, the enemy has seen there is no longer room for it in your house. It tried to enter through spiritual doors, but you stood in watchfulness. It whispered in the dark, but you proclaimed the light. Now it shifts its tactics, for if it cannot break you from within, it will attempt to surround you from without. And I say, do not be surprised when the atmosphere around you begins to shift, even while you remain in obedience. This is a spiritual truth you must understand. When a person matures in God, the enemy does not retreat, it redirects. It will use things that seem harmless, people who seem well-meaning, words that appear kind, to plant seeds of doubt, discouragement, and weariness in your soul. It will no longer come as a storm, but as a steady, draining drizzle. Open opposition raises your guard, but subtle erosion is far more dangerous. The enemy may try to use those dearest to you to unsettle you, not because they intend to, but because they are unaware they are being used. A gentle comment made at the wrong time, a silence that causes you to doubt yourself a cold reaction that makes you feel unseen. The enemy knows that mental isolation is the easiest ground to plant lies, and it will do everything it can to make you feel alone, even in a crowd. Even while you pray, even as you hear my word, I do not reveal this to make you afraid, but to make you aware. For once you discern the strategy, you are no longer ensnared. Light drives out all deception. And now, I am training you not only to defend, but to advance. It's time to stop waiting to be attacked before you pray. It's time to stop merely protecting your atmosphere and start establishing my dominion everywhere you go. Begin each day as a warrior, not a wanderer. Clothe yourself with the armor of the Spirit, righteousness, truth, faith, salvation, the Word, and ceaseless prayer. Ephesians 6:13-18. But I do not want you to wear this armor just to endure. I want you to wear it to engage. My child, I have given you a sword. My word in your mouth is a sharp weapon. Every time you speak truth, darkness retreats. Every time you declare my name, enemy forces tremble. Do not stay silent when your spirit senses something is amiss. Do not try to be polite in the spirit realm. Speak. Declare. Drive out darkness with the sound of life. When you walk into your workplace, do not merely enter as an employee. Enter as one who carries the kingdom. Pray over every desk, every room, every coworker. When you join a meeting, do not let fear set the tone. Bring clarity, kindness, and spiritual authority. When you attend a party, a dinner, or a conversation, remember the spirit realm is present, and you are not empty-handed. You carry my presence. My child, I am not teaching you to react. I am teaching you to take initiative. There will be times when your spirit senses something is wrong before your mind can explain it. Do not dismiss that. Step back. Pray. Ask me, Lord, what is happening here? And I will answer. I will open your eyes. I will reveal the schemes set in motion, so you can dismantle them before they take root. I am training you as an alert warrior, not one who only prays when trouble comes. Every victory begins with watchfulness. I know there are times you are weary, times you think, will this battle ever end? But my child, this is not punishment, it is maturity. The greater the calling, the deeper the refining, the heavier the assignment, the more thorough the training. And you carry a calling that many cannot see, cannot grasp, cannot comprehend. But I see, I understand, I supply strength, and I will not let you fight alone. My angels are encamped around you. The prayers you've lifted in these past months have not been forgotten. They have formed a spiritual wall of protection around you. The enemy sees it, which is why it tries to shake your mind, for it cannot penetrate the barrier. But if you keep your heart, hold fast to my word, and stay alert, you will not only stand firm, you will enlarge your spiritual influence, and those around you will begin to experience the peace you carry. Do not be afraid when you feel different. Do not try to blend into a polluted atmosphere just to be accepted. You were not called to dissolve into the world. You were called to be salt, to be light, to be a gatekeeper. And I am standing with you, giving you words, granting you wisdom, and bestowing upon you strategies that do not originate from man. Remember this, my child, when darkness changes its form, you do not need to be afraid. You only need to change your position from defense to offense, from holding ground to taking territory, from avoidance to confrontation. And with every step you take, I will go before you. With every word you speak, I will establish it. With every prayer you release, I will move heaven. You are not fighting alone. You are the one who has been called, and the victory belongs to you, my beloved child. After you have learned to stand firm amid attacks, after you have discerned the subtle strategies of the enemy and responded not with emotion, but with spiritual authority, I speak this to you. The time has come for you to enter a new level. This is no longer a season of defense. This is the time of establishment. Not establishment on paper or in the eyes of man, but divine establishment in the unseen realm where true power is released, where my kingdom expands through the faithful. You have been tested. You have been refined. You have walked through fire and were not burned. You have passed through water and were not overwhelmed. What the enemy once used to defeat you now holds no power. What once made you tremble now only deepens your trust. The questions that once confused you have now become a powerful testimony upon your lips. And I, the one who has watched you through every season, declare you have been firmly established. Now I give you something that no one can take away, a spiritual position sealed by my own power. You are not merely a gatekeeper. You are a steward, not in the sense of ruling over people, but as one with spiritual influence over the environment entrusted to you. Every time you enter a space, the spiritual climate will shift, not because of loud words or visible authority, but because you carry true presence. Some people will not understand why they feel lighter in your presence. Some will weep when you simply say, I will pray for you. That is not emotional sensitivity. That is the movement of the Holy Spirit through one who has chosen to obey. I do not want you to evaluate your worth by worldly measures. Do not look at your number of followers, the title you carry, or public applause. Light does not need to be praised in order to be effective. It simply needs to be kept burning. And you, my child, have kept that flame alive in the darkness. Now I place that lamp upon the stand. I will cause you to witness impact not in terms of quantity, but in depth. I will cause your words to reach souls your eyes have never seen, and your prayers to transcend physical space to intervene in battles far away. There will be people drawn to you without understanding why. They will not say, I came because of you, but their souls will say, I need something that you carry. Do not be alarmed. Do not avoid it. Do not push the responsibility onto others. They come to you because they are searching for true light, and I have placed that light within you. You do not need to have all the answers. Just listen. Just love. Just point them to me. The light in you is not meant for people to look at you, but to look through you and see me, my child. From this day on, walk as one with authority, not arrogantly, but not timidly, not with hesitation, but not with haste. Walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows they are not alone, not cast aside, not left behind. Every place your foot touches, if you walk in my name, will become a place of establishment. Your desk will become an altar. Your kitchen where you cook will become a place of worship. The messages you send will carry life. Even the briefest responses may become the beginning of transformation when you allow the Holy Spirit to lead. You no longer have to struggle to find your place. You are now exactly where you are meant to be in me. You do not need to earn anyone's approval. The recognition has already come from a higher place. When you stand in my authority, no one can take from you what I have given. The enemy may whisper, but he cannot touch. People may doubt, but they cannot deny. For my establishment does not depend on human validation, it depends on your faithfulness. And you have remained faithful in the secret places where no one else has seen. Do not shrink back when greater responsibility draws near. Do not turn away when the call becomes clearer. I am enlarging your territory of influence not to make you famous, but to make you a stream in the midst of a barren land, a place where the weary may find rest, a space where the lost may find direction, a voice through which the doubting may hear the echo of grace. You do not go ahead to be the leader. You go ahead to be the watchman. No one sees the watchman, but everyone follows the path he points. And I am placing you in that position. No explanation needed. No striving. No grasping for attention. You only need to walk steadily, consistently, in the light, and with every step you take, the enemy will tremble. Not because you roar, but because you walk in unshakable peace with the feet of one who has been established, one no longer stirred by circumstances, no longer swayed by public opinion. So I say to you, my beloved child, the establishment has been declared. Your position has been recorded in the spirit realm. You no longer need to keep proving your worth. You only need to keep walking in the light I have placed before you. From now on, the battles will no longer define you. They will affirm that what I have spoken is true. And you will know, not by feelings, but by an immovable certainty, that you have been sent, have been protected, and have been established, my beloved child. Now that you are standing firm, now that darkness can no longer penetrate the refuge you and I have built, I declare this: the time of preparation has been completed. This is not the end of your training, but the beginning of a mission now being unveiled. Everything you have walked through was not just to protect you from harm, but to prepare you for a greater purpose. You were not made merely to survive, you were chosen to make impact. And now, my plan for you is beginning to unfold, step by step, like morning light, illuminating each stairway of truth. Do not think the mission comes like thunder or lightning. It comes like a whisper that only a quiet soul can hear. It comes as a deep stirring that something within is shifting, urging you to revisit what was left unfinished, to awaken dreams you thought had died, to rekindle visions you once believed were too large to trust. That is me, reigniting the fire within you, not to make you rush out, but to make you listen, take note, and move strategically. I do not lead you with haste. I do not act under pressure. I am the God of order, of divine planning, and of step-by-step direction. If you expect me to place every detail in your hands from the beginning, you will be overwhelmed. But if you learn to walk in obedience one step at a time, you will find that I am always a step ahead. You do not need to see the whole map. You only need to keep your eyes fixed on me, and I will guide you through each turn. The mission I have given you is unlike any other. You will not find a perfect model among those who came before. I may use their lives to encourage you, but no one else walks your exact path. For my imprint upon you is one of a kind. You were designed with a unique flow, a unique voice, a kind of influence that cannot be replicated. Do not try to become someone else. Become who you truly are, the version I formed before you were born. I know there are many questions within you. What must I do? How do I begin? What if I make a mistake? But my child, I do not call the perfect, I call the willing, and you have responded. That is enough to begin. Do not fear making a misstep. If you stray, I will correct you. If you drift, I will call you. If you fall, I will lift you. But if you do not move, nothing will happen. You will never see what I have prepared until you dare to step out of your comfort zone and do what I placed in your heart, even if it is small, even if it is quiet, even if no one sees. Let me speak this into your heart. The mission does not begin when your platform is big enough. It begins when you listen and obey. Perhaps the first thing you do is simply write down an idea, make a phone call, speak a word of encouragement, share a story, help someone in need. These things that seem small are seeds of the kingdom, and if you are faithful to plant them, they will grow into forests no one can cut down. In this season, I will give you something new, Spirit-led creativity. Not to impress, but to build. You will see new ways of working rise up from within. Solutions from the depths. Insights beyond natural logic. This is not imagination. This is the gift I am giving. For my kingdom does not operate by human systems. It flows by revelation from above. You may feel like you are not good enough. That is okay. I do not require your ability. I require your faithfulness. Moses said he was not eloquent. Jeremiah thought he was too young. Job questioned me. Elijah wanted to die. And yet I used them, not because they were flawless, but because they surrendered. And so will you. If you place in my hands what you have, even if it is 5 loaves and 2 fish, I will make it enough for thousands. Not because of you, but for my name's sake. Not by your strength, but by mine. Not because you understand all things, but because you trust that I do. My child, start small, but start for real. Write. Pray for what you have not yet seen. Speak to the one your heart is stirred for. Let go of what I've been asking you to release. Make room for what I'm about to place. Change does not come like a whirlwind. It comes like a breath, gentle, quiet, yet powerful enough to shatter what has long held you captive. You are stepping into unfamiliar territory, but do not fear. I have already been there. I go before you. And as you take each step in faith, you will not only see the path unfold, you will see yourself transformed in the journey. You will realize you are no longer one who trembles in the dark, but one who dares to speak in the day, to act in the light, and to live for a purpose greater than yourself. My beloved child, as the mission unfolds, the more refined trials will also begin to appear. You are no longer facing direct assaults as before, for the darkness knows you have learned to discern. Now, you step into a season where challenges no longer come to destroy, but to refine. They are not punishments, they are part of my training plan, and I want you to understand this clearly. Not all hardship is an obstacle. Some are placed by me to deepen your roots. In the season of preparation, I taught you how to stand. But in the season of action, I will teach you how to obey strategically. Not obedience out of impulse or habit, but obedience to the detailed, precise, step-by-step guidance of the Holy Spirit. For you cannot enter into higher realms of influence without first learning to surrender in the smallest details. I cannot entrust more to one who is not faithful with little. And the testing you face now is not to assess your strength, it is to train your readiness to yield. There will be things I ask you to do that you will not understand right away. I may ask you to remain silent when others attack. I may ask you to give when you are in need. I may call you to withdraw from something that appears full of promise. And your heart will wonder, Lord, why? But remember this, I do not need you to understand everything for me to act. I need you to trust. True faith is not proven when everything is clear. It is revealed in the haze when you still say, Yes, Lord. And 3. Top of form. Obedience to strategy is not the same as mechanical compliance. It is a living relationship. I do not desire you to walk by dead laws, but by the vitality of the Spirit. Each day you open your eyes. Ask me, Father, what would you have me do today? Not because you lack wisdom, but because you choose to place that wisdom under supreme guidance, not because you are unable to plan, but because you surrender those plans at my feet, so I may shape them. That is the spirit of one who is sent, one who knows that even though they have been entrusted with a mission, I remain the commander-in-chief. In this season, my guidance will come more gently, not because my voice is softer, but because you have been trained to recognize its sound, the gentle stirring in your spirit, an unexpected peace just before you make a decision, a holy discomfort when you're about to take a wrong turn. This is how I lead, not always with miracles or external signs, but through an inner sensing that has been refined. Do not dismiss the small things, for often the greatest things begin with the simplest act. I will begin to test your heart with problems that are not straightforward. Someone will need help but will not ask. You will have to discern it. A door will open, but will not bear your name. You will have to step through by faith. A promise will be repeated, but without a timeline you will have to wait. And at the right time, I will confirm. These are not puzzles to confuse you, but exercises to shape you into one who is led from within. Because when you step into the world, there will be times when no one points the way. No map is laid before you. No human voice confirms you. Only the whisper from me. You once thought that doing God's will meant smooth sailing. But I say, sometimes doing my will means walking into the storm. Not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to know that I am there in the storm. I can silence the waves, but I can also walk on water. And in this season, you will learn both. You will witness miracles in the waiting. You will find steadfastness in the silence. You will discover power in the pause. And you will see my love revealed even in the limits I place before you. My child, do not fear when you feel yourself slowing down. Do not panic when you no longer move as fast as before. I do not measure your mission by speed. I measure it by accuracy. And if you are willing to slow down to walk the right path, you will find yourself arriving sooner than many who rush in error. For I do not merely want you to do something for me. I want you to do the exact thing I ordained. And the right thing always begins with a heart fully surrendered. Obedience is not weakness. It is the most powerful tactic in my kingdom. When you surrender, you place all control into the hands of the one who never fails. And when I move, nothing can stop me. So, my child, keep your heart tender. Keep your spiritual ears open. Do not overlook the small details. For in each detail, I am writing a divine manuscript. And you are the one who will walk it out. My beloved, now is the time for you to step out from preparation into the reality of the mission I have given. No longer just promises. No longer only quiet impressions. Now comes real action, real footsteps, real fruit. And I say to you, do not fear the beginning. For when you take the first step in obedience, heaven opens, earth shifts, and my hand moves with you. You are not alone, I am still here, even closer than before. You will begin to sense a new power at work within you, not from people, nor from your own effort. It is the power of my Spirit. It will not always manifest in trembling or grand miracles, but in extraordinary wisdom, in words that awaken the hearer, in actions that create lasting transformation. It is a quiet yet unshakable force, my power working through a life fully yielded. In this season, you will need discernment more than ever. Not every encouragement comes from me. Not every open door is from heaven. Not every voice carries life. That is why I will increase within you a divine gift of discernment. You will feel when something is not of the right spirit. You will know when someone wears holiness outwardly, but carries an unsurrendered mind. I will open your spiritual eyes to see deeper than appearances. And through this, you will avoid many traps that seem harmless but are disguised by darkness. Remember, you are stepping into a battlefield, not a stage. Every word you speak, every step you take, every action you choose will influence the souls of others. Therefore, you need spiritual precision, heavenly discipline, but also the creativity I am pouring out like rain. I will cause you to think of things never seen before. I will cause you to write, speak, and act in ways no one taught you. This is not rebellion, it is renewal. For I am the God who does new things, and you are the vessel through which the new will emerge. Do not expect to be understood right away. There are things I entrust to you that family, friends, and even spiritual leaders may not fully grasp. Do not blame them. Do not seek confirmation from them. Seek it from me. And when you walk in the right direction, the fruit will testify on its own. Let your fruit be the evidence of what I am doing. Do not argue. Do not try to convince. Just live, act, and let my Spirit speak through your life. You will find doors opening gently, and you will know it is me. There will also be turns that seem like great opportunities, but I will tell you to pass them by. Do not grieve. If I close a door, it is because I have a better one. If I ask you to wait, it is because I am working behind the scenes. And if I tell you to move now, even when things don't seem ready, then trust, I have already prepared everything. All I need is a willing heart and faithful feet. Do not measure success by numbers. You may impact only one person, but if that one is the one I destined, then your entire obedience has shaken the realm of the Spirit. Do not think small acts are insignificant. In my kingdom, value is not in external size, but in internal surrender. Even a cup of water given in love is remembered in heaven. A small act of obedience can save a generation. My child, you will face resistance. There will be those who doubt, mock, even attack you. Do not be afraid. I am your fortress. They are not fighting you. They are resisting the one who sent you. And those who oppose me will not stand long. So you do not need to defend yourself. I will be your defense. You do not need to retaliate. I will judge. Your task is to remain faithful. The rest, leave to me. When you move rightly under my leading, you will begin to see results not from human striving, but from supernatural flow, People will come to you and say, "I don't know why, but what you said changed my heart." Or, "I don't understand it, but I feel peace when I'm near you." That is not because of you, but because I am in you. So do not take the glory, give it to me. Do not become proud, give thanks. Do not stop, keep walking. You are entering the land of spiritual influence. But remember, true influence always carries great responsibility. Every step you take must be illuminated by my word. Every decision must be watered by prayer. Every victory must be grounded in humility. With the remembrance, without God, I can do nothing. And with this spirit, you will move from blessing to blessing, from faith to faith, from glory to glory. My beloved, you have now walked through a season of training. Learn to obey in the dark, acted in the brilliance of my light, and learn to hear the divine whisper amidst 1,000 voices. But what I am about to reveal will open your eyes to a deeper layer that all you have endured was not merely for personal benefit, but to prepare you for a vital place on my map of destiny. You are not just one who has been healed. You are one who is sent to transform. Everyone I choose has a coordinate on the heavenly map. You are not living where you are by accident. The relationships around you are not random. The encounters, the doors, even the jolts have all been orchestrated to bring you to the intersection between my will and the world's need. And you are at that point, a season of transition not only for you, but for many through you. Don't you see? The dreams you carried, the promises you once held, the battles you have fought, all are converging to bring you to this moment. I have woven every thread of your life into a greater tapestry, and you hold a vital piece of the pattern. No one else can take your place in that piece. If you refuse, that space remains missing. And because I do not want that, today I emphasize your presence in my plan is essential. Not because I cannot act without you, but because I have chosen to act through you. My child, I have placed a mark on your forehead not for others to see, but for angels in darkness to recognize. You are a carrier of heaven's code. Every step you take shifts the spiritual atmosphere. Every word you speak vibrates through the air. Every prayer you lift pierces the darkness like an arrow and makes way for the light. I do not need you to be famous. I need you to be sensitive, because sometimes one sensitive soul is enough to set an entire city free from its chains. Top of form. And now, you shall witness the divine connection between your life and the lives of others I have also chosen. You will meet souls walking in the same mission, as if they had been waiting for you since before the foundation of the world. This is the heavenly formation I have ordained. You will not be alone. You will be positioned in the right place, beside the right people, at the right time. Each carries a piece of the puzzle, but when they are joined, the glorious picture will be revealed. Look carefully at the signs. Certain numbers will begin to repeat. Dreams will become clearer in meaning. Scriptures will come alive as never before. All of these are divine codes I send to confirm you are on the right path. And as you respond to these signals with obedience, you will witness an increase in power, in influence, and in the level of revelation. For I do not pour new oil into an unprepared vessel, but you have been refined, enlarged, and now you are ready to carry what I am about to release. Do not be surprised when the world begins to shake. Things once thought unshakable will tremble. Systems that once stood firm will collapse. But do not fear. This is the season of my divine transfer of authority. I am positioning those I have anointed, not to wield swords with their hands, but to carry my word in their mouths, not to rule with might, but to heal with mercy, and you are among them. I did not call you to dissolve into the crowd. I called you to stand, not with loudness, but with presence, not with fame, but with fierce humility, not to control, but to serve, and in that service, my power will be revealed. You do not need to shout that you are chosen. My presence within you will make it known, and that presence will melt hardened hearts, open the eyes of the spiritually blind, and awaken souls long asleep in deception. So, my child, do not underestimate your role in this hour. Do not let weariness make you hesitate. Do not let delay discourage you. Everything is unfolding according to my timetable, not a second too late, not a moment too early. You only need to keep walking step by step, with open ears and a tender heart. Everything I promised will come to pass, and it will come in a way only I could have designed. My beloved, now is the time for you to understand an even greater truth. Your destiny is not confined to yourself alone. You are part of a divine network I have established before time began. I did not call you to stand alone. I called you to connect. You are a spiritual transmitter, a conduit between heaven and earth, and around you are others sending out frequencies of the Spirit. You must recognize them. You must unite in the Spirit, across nations, cities, and lands. I have awakened those whose hearts have silently wept in isolation, just like you. But now I am gathering them, not to form an organization, but to become a body, not to build a man-made structure, but to reflect my image upon the earth. I am the head, and each one I call is a member. You cannot operate alone forever, for in connection, heaven's flow is multiplied. My child, do not overlook the connections I am forging in this season. It may be a stranger who writes you a message. It may be a brother in faith whom you've never met. It may be someone who has quietly watched your journey and is now stirred by me to step forward. Each one I connect to you carries a code, a vision, a piece of the mission that, when joined with yours, creates a force so powerful that darkness cannot withstand it. I am moving globally. Yes, I am breaking the barriers of regions, races, and tongues, for my voice transcends every boundary. I am placing in the hands of my children special frequencies, words, graces, fire, so that when they unite, a wave of spiritual vibration will shake territories. Picture this. Each one I call is a pillar of light, and when these pillars align, they become a band of radiance slicing through the darkness, piercing places long held by dark forces. But you must be vigilant, for the enemy, too, knows the power of connection. He will attempt to send counterfeit alignments, people who bear my name but not my fruit. I will give you clear discernment. Not everything done in my name comes from me. Not everyone who uses my words bears the fruit of my Spirit. You must learn to test the hearts, see if they walk in light, if they bear the fruit of love, patience, kindness, and truth. Do not partner out of emotion. Wait for my confirming word. When you begin to collaborate with those I have sent, you will experience supernatural increase. Doors once shut will open without a knock. Words once stifled will be heard. Lands once barren will suddenly break open with streams of living water. For when the members of my body unite, resurrection power is released. No longer isolated presence, but a spiritual eruption shaking the very realm of the unseen. You will realize that your responsibility is not only for those near you, but for lands you have never set foot upon. It may be a nation that has never heard my name. It may be a community oppressed by false religion. I will place a burden in your heart, a love beyond understanding for those people. Do not resist it. Pray. Write down what I place in your heart. Speak it. For when you speak what is mine, angels will begin to move to carry out that word upon the land. And you will begin to see clearly that you are not merely a devout believer, you are an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven. You do not just carry my word. You carry authority to declare. You do not merely witness about me. You release freedom in my name. And when you act as a true representative of heaven, the entire atmosphere around you will recognize the presence of a higher power. Darkness will tremble. Invisible chains will shatter. The bound will be released. You will see your words carry new weight. You will no longer speak as one who hopes. You will speak as one who knows. For your faith is no longer fragile in the dark. It is a flame refined by fire. And now it shines not only for you, but for those around you. I will place the right words in your mouth at the right moment, and those words will unlock regions, generations, and sealed realms. My child, prepare to go further. Be ready to love those you've never met. Be brave enough to connect with those you do not yet understand. For in that diversity, I am composing a symphony of unity, and you are a melody in heaven's song. Harmonize. Let the Spirit conduct. Let me write the final chapter of your story, not merely as one who was saved, but as one who carries redemptive light to the nations. My beloved child, the time has come for me to declare this final word, not as a farewell, but as a seal. For from this moment forward, you are no longer one who stands at the edge of choice, but one who has stepped into the promised land, where there is no more doubt, no more compromise, no more retreat. You have passed through the fire. You have endured the storm. You have waited in silence and believed without evidence. Now, I place my seal upon your forehead, a seal, eternal, unremovable, irreplaceable. This seal is not to gain the praise of men, but to signal the spiritual realms that you are one sent. You do not carry a temporary title. You do not act on fleeting inspiration. You are one in covenant with heaven, and in that covenant, you are not merely a servant, you are a child. Acquair, a close friend of the Most High. You have learned to trust me in the silence. Now you will see me act in the open. You have served in hiddenness. Now I will reveal you among the crowds, not to lift you up, but that my glory may shine from you like morning light after the darkest night. Remember this, the glory I give is not like the world's glory. It is not for personal applause, but to destroy the yoke of slavery upon many others. When my glory flows through you, the sick will be healed without your touch. The broken-hearted will be mended by the kindness in your gaze. The enemy will be subdued not because you shout, but because my presence in you renders them powerless. This is no longer theory. This is power in action. You will walk between two realms, citizen of heaven, yet sent to earth. Each day you live will no longer be to survive, but to release life. Each act you perform will no longer be reaction, but execution of heaven's command. And every word you speak, if it is in me, will not return void. It will accomplish my will, just as rain does not return without watering the earth. Now, I speak to you the words that generations long to hear. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. I do not only declare this at the end of your life, I proclaim it in the present moment, so that you may live as one who has already finished, as a warrior who has already won, as a child who has already come home, not because you did everything perfectly, but because you never gave up, not because you were stronger than others, but because you chose to cling to me when all else fell away. My child, a crown awaits you, not after death, but as you live for me, a crown of victory over temptation, of endurance through trials, of faithfulness in the wilderness. I will give you a new name in heaven, and it will echo among the assembly of angels as a song of praise. For you are no longer the wounded. You are the healer. You are no longer the survivor. You are the conqueror. You are no longer the rejected. You are the clearly chosen. I look into your heart now, and I see what moves mine deeply, that you no longer pursue me for reward, but for me. You no longer ask me about tomorrow, for you know I hold it. You no longer fear my silence, for you have learned that even my silence is love. And for this, I entrust you with things I've never given to another, revelations the world cannot comprehend, spiritual strategies to unlock entire regions, prophetic words that can turn the tide of history. My child, now I seal you not only with oil, but with my very presence. You no longer need to prove you're anointed. The oil will flow. You no longer need to prove you're chosen. The light will shine. You no longer need to declare your mission. Your works will speak. From this moment forward, you are a mirror reflecting me on the earth. When people look at you, they will see my kindness. When they touch you, they will experience my forgiveness. When they listen to you, they will hear the voice of eternal life. And finally, I want you to know something that only those who finish the journey truly understand. My glory is not found in dazzling miracles, but in your willingness to surrender yourself so that I may live through you. Greatness is not in the applause, but in the silence of your knees. Victory is not defined by popularity, but by complete surrender. And true love is not measured in words, but in your willingness to suffer with me, to weep with me, and to love this world as I have loved it. Sorrise, my child, carry the flame I placed within you. Walk through the night and shine. Open your mouth and break chains. Stretch out your hands and lift others with you. For you are no longer your former self. You are now one who bears the mark of heaven forever, eternally, and no one can take it from you. Thank you for receiving this message today. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that together we may continue to receive the living word. Build unwavering faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.